Chat, here we go. It's Vulcan versus Ripper. It is the grand finals of Mass Duelist in North America. $500 for the person who wins this best of 5, as they have played through a couple different hidden players to get to this moment. And you guys have had a couple opportunities to guess who they are and decide who is playing in this grand final. Now, you have been actually pretty sure about these two players. These are the only players that you've been consistent with on both your guesses, which is that you have Vulcan as first killer and you have Ripper as Wavy. Now, again, is that something that you should stick to no matter what? Or if you see some obvious change in their gameplay that makes you think there's someone else, could be worth changing? Or maybe you guys already have them both right. Either way, it should lead to a good grand final. We know these guys are playing at the top of their game. Maybe you only checked in for the grand final and you know what's going on. I think I somewhat covered it. Everybody in this 8-player tournament has been completely hidden. And after the grand final, we will reveal everyone who played, as well as all your guesses and every opponent's guess for who they were playing against. Vulcan and Ripper, neither one of them scoring. Ripper going to put one on the board, so I will go check and make sure the predictions are closed before anybody can bet on the fact that Ripper scored the first goal. It does seem like chat is slightly in favor of Vulcan. They were actually in favor of Vulcan against Zippy as well, and that proved to be correct as Vulcan got a sweep against Zippy. And now slightly in favor again. Hooty-hoo, thank you for the raid. Hopefully you had a good time with your 2v2 tournament. I always hate overlapping any Rocket League tournaments because I feel like we don't get a ton. And originally the plan was not to have it overlap, but we had a delay to today. But I'm sure that 2v2 tournament was a good time. Ripper backing off now as Vulcan has possession. And it's going to be a double jump bump attempt, and it connects. Ripper actually got a bit of a bump, but not enough to slow the ball down and prevent the goal. Have any of the players had multiple opponents guess the same person for them? That's a good question. So it'd have to be one of the semi-finalists. I think so. I think there have been pros who stay consistent on who they're playing. I have to go double check all of the guesses, but we'll go all through all of them again. You'll get a chance to see them. That's why you got to stick around for the big reveal as Ripper going to score their second goal. As a reminder, I do think a lot of people will tune into just the grand final, which is understandable. Somebody asked, are they all NA players? The matches are being played on US East. So know that whoever's playing, it's got to be somebody who's willing to play on US East, as Vulcan going to take a wall-to-air dribble to a nice flick to finish for their third goal. And because we had to delay a game, I gave everybody a hint, which is that even though we're playing on US East, 3 different RLCS regions were represented in the tournament. You do not get to see the pings. Now, one thing about the players guessing, not only are the players, I think, just kind of better at this game anyways, but they're in the lobbies. There's no way they're not going to end up seeing the ping of both themselves and their opponent. So they do have that slight advantage over you guys. Ooh, what a pre-flip from Ripper. Ripper not going to be able to stop this booming power shot as they tried to transition to the back wall. Put too much power on the ball. Could not close the distance to cut off any angles. Best of 5 here. We're sticking with best of 5 through the whole tournament. And then immediately following the grand final will be the reveal of every single player who played in the tournament. A nice read from Vulcan. Back corner boost grab sees the ceiling challenge starting to happen. And the best answer to that is get the ball to net as soon as possible. Don't dilly-dally, because that allows that person who's challenging from the ceiling to have a chance to get to the ball. Ripper trying to pass it themselves and might have successfully done so after the bump. flick to the top shelf will guarantee it. If this has success, could this be the first of several mass Duelist events? Yeah, I think that it went pretty well. I think there's things that could probably be done better. I would love to give everybody a little bit more time and, maybe do a little bit more prize. I was able to get the prize, to what I think is a good amount. But we may could do a longer tournament, maybe more matches if you can muster up a bit more prize, maybe a sponsor or something. So yeah, I think there's opportunities to do it in the future for sure. And of course, we still have the EU version of the tournament, as Vulcan gonna get this around Ripper and make it 6-3. Ripper reads the fake kickoff of Vulcan, but not really enough to gain an advantage on the kickoff, as these two really actually just still vying for control. No one's had a clear possession since the beginning of the kickoff, but I'd just say that Vulcan does now. Vulcan going for a pretty aggressive play. Knows that they need to get the ball in the net pretty quickly in order to get, a goal out before the respawn, and taking your time to get the angle is not going to work. So instead, just went for the back wall double and was hoping that they had the mechanics to finish it off. It didn't work out, but it looks like they're going to get a game win either way. 34 seconds. Vulcan not only has won both of their series, but hasn't dropped a game yet in the tournament. So certainly, at the very least, you've got to trust Vulcan to be a top player. Or you think someone had one of the craziest breakouts in a hidden identity tournament ever, which could be the case, because you never know what kind of mental blocks people have that are preventing them from getting wins. Here, I think it would be fun if you got an admin to do the player coordination so you can play along. Yeah, I would love to play along. That's probably the best addition. I mean, I'd say I'd love to play along, but I'd also hate to play along, because I really don't think I'd be that much better. Maybe I'd be like as good as the pros are, or near as good as they are. Especially if I got to see ping. Ping's a big advantage. But you guys don't get to see ping, which is why you're switching to my view. Game 2. Vulcan and Ripper. Vulcan trying to speed run the tournament right now. And we'll see if they'll be able to, as they're going for a pretty aggressive defensive play. I thought for a second they were going full field psycho, but it looks like they did not try and shoot. They decided to go for the safer option of just putting it off into the corner. Now I think Ripper went for a delicate save here. I think they had a chance to get a full-on save if they wanted, but it seems like they decided to do what honestly Vulcan did earlier, which is a save off their own back wall or post, and then use that to their advantage to go counter. And it's always been a risk when you do that, because you never know if you're going to miss it and just set up an own goal. You think another interesting idea is having pros play under an actual pro's name. You'd have to guess if they are real or an imposter. Interesting. Would you just want half the tournament to be people actually just playing on their own name, and half the tournament is imposters? And they're actually using the name of someone else who's in the tournament, so you have to figure out which one of the two is the real one. Ooh, nice. A couple of bumps in a row for Vulcan on a slow play. Brought this to a roll. That was literally the last time they touched it. And then decided to just take out the defender. Vulcan, speedy win to the ball, but just slightly off target, so actually should result in an open possession for Ripper, as Ripper takes a sidewall dribble. No resets, instead waits for the 50, and it works perfectly. Keeps it inside the post enough to be able to follow it up and put a goal on the board. Ripper is doing a lot in net. Has decided to no longer just stay stagnant considering Vulcan has loved the bump plays. Ooh. A couple pixels off perfection there for Ripper. As if it got even slightly more in-net angle, there's nothing Vulcan would have been able to do, but a good challenge. And Ripper, a very safe touch. And why not? Do not have to shoot it on this first play when Vulcan's completely out of it. Ripper trying to rip a shot from the midfield, but pre-jumped by Vulcan, who intercepts. You know, we didn't assign their names. Like I said, I just assigned them randomly different car names. But Ripper was playing into his name yesterday, as everyone felt like he was doing a good job of ripping the ball when he had the opportunity. Vulcan, little pest. A little pest will bump Ripper off the line. Chat says kind of cringe. Well, what player do you know is cringe enough to go for those bumps? Ripper deciding to turn and challenge. You can see Vulcan just following that bounce and protecting it the whole way, waiting to read a challenge. Vulcan double jump. Take this one to the back corner. Vulcan just barely not able to keep that in a shootable range, as they were prioritizing getting it out and around Ripper. And Vulcan is in the zone right now. Ripper playing on very little boost, trying to position to be able to win a 50. Can't do so. Vulcan. Little boost steal as they wait patiently for Ripper to give the ball up. Ripper is on 0, so there's a very high chance that they do, and they eventually do. Vulcan deciding to take away the little bit of boost that Ripper does have by putting on a power shot that Ripper's likely to save, but not likely to be able to follow up. And then Vulcan will play it out of the air, up high on the bounce, to take advantage of the fact that Ripper was only just recently resetting on boost. Ripper thought about the in and out save, but bailed out of it. Could not get back in time. 6-2. Vulcan going to go low, and look at what Ripper... I mean, Ripper has pretty much fully committed to these in and out saves. They haven't really worked out, but he seems to wanting... He wants to be staying moving, from what I can tell. After getting bumped so many different times, he wants to be unpredictable in net and see if that can help him in these defensive stands. But it's not. Vulcan scoring almost easier than before, as they're up 7-2. Ripper actually successful in the fake. In order for this fake to work, Vulcan needs to not touch anything. Oh my goodness. Vacanus with the 80 gifted subs. My goodness. For the clean 500. He was at 420 before. So clearly the 80 gifted was to try and get to 500. There's not enough words to express the level of support that Vacanus has both given the 1v1 scene with donations of prize pools, and of course myself specifically with 500 gifted subs. VIPM, he's a mod. he's better than a VIP. If we could give him mod VIP, we would. Ripper is being smurfed on right now. This is the second time that someone has said that Vulcan's opponent looks like they're getting smurfed on. Bulls Bup, thank you for the brand new Prime. Appreciate that as well. Feer can retire Pog. Listen, we wouldn't even be anywhere in the stratosphere of being able to retire if it weren't for Vacanus. Bacchus is Vulcan confirmed. Vulcanus. I should have just picked chatter names. Wait a second. Should we give every one of the EU tournament team or players a chatter's name? And they can play for them? That could actually be kind of funny. Chat is spamming yes, yes, yes. Mod names. The only thing weird about that is I don't want to force the pros to play under a certain name. They get 5 gifted. 5 gifted to have a pro play as your name. You guys are making some serious moves in my favor. Determined by marbles. That could be an interesting way to do it. Whoa! Chat, you almost distracted me. I got there in time, though. No ping clues for you. Game number 3. Vulcan 1 game away from a perfect sweep of the entire tournament. 9-0 through 3 best-of-5s without knowing who their opponent is. They might walk away $500 richer. Ripper has other plans, though, as they're able to score off the initial kickoff. Little undercut. Swing back through with a power shot. Vulcan on an air dribble, has a reset, goes low for the wave dash. Ripper, who was staying chaotic in net earlier, has slowed it down a little bit. Shadowed this one a bit more passively. Interesting flip from Ripper. We don't see a ton of people do that single jump kickoff. I say single jump. I don't know if that's the best way to put it, but one jump that takes you the whole length instead of, you know, a flip, a land, and a reflip. I think we've seen that one other time this tournament. It wasn't from Ripper. Honestly, oftentimes I feel like it's just a mistake, but I've seen people use it enough that some people do like to set that up intentionally. Ooh, a fake on their own goal line for Vulcan has earned them a walk in the park to an open net. Vulcan. Another early possession off kickoff as they style into a soft catch and see that Ripper is coming in for a challenge they're not going to be able to get to. And instead of playing it towards the net, they just send it off to the side wall. The only thing that matters is Ripper missing. That's exactly what Ripper does, especially if they're going to jump on zero boost. Vulcan will have no trouble scoring before Ripper can return. Ripper trying to bump off the kickoff. Vulcan almost own goaling as they power slide their way on the back wall to stay in control. Vulcan seems really comfortable in this tournament, no question. Ripper, though, still in this game 3 and still in this series. Ripper wins this 50. It's a nice double off the back wall. Vulcan into the reset, the wave dash catch. Rolls the ball underneath. And it's looking like if Vulcan wins the kickoff into a side wall air dribble, it's just about 100% guaranteed goal. Ripper has not had a lot of success defending against Vulcan's side wall to air off the kickoff. Ripper's going to get demoed. So a ton of space now for Vulcan, who will elect to take it into the air. Has a reset, and what a shot from Vulcan. Look at the movement around this ball before the finishing shot. We're watching from Ripper POV, so he has to respawn first. But such an insane 360 underneath the ball before using the flip. A nasty shot from Vulcan. And there's certainly no question that no matter who you're guessing, it better be somebody good. For honestly both these players, but especially the way Vulcan's playing. Vulcan allowing Ripper the possession and early shot in favor of the boost, but maybe not going to pay off. Ripper trying to set up a play from the attacking corner. Can't do it clean. Vulcan, little camera check. Ripper just tried to rip one. He tried to rip one into the top left and couldn't do it. Oh, but actually Vulcan, where is Vulcan going? Ripper is going to be able to score that. Vulcan maybe getting a little bit too relaxed on 23 boost, deciding to go all the way out to the back corner. Vulcan slowing it down now. Looking to try and sneak it near post, top right. Ends up hitting back wall. Ripper faking towards the side wall. Really just wants to get a clean carry on target. Is willing to give up all of their boost to do so. Vulcan thought about the midfield, recognized that Ripper was going to go to the back corner, and decided, I want to have 100 boost, and I want my opponent to have 0. I don't want us to both just trade. So it goes to take Ripper's 100. Now will Vulcan play it quickly before the boost reset. Seemed like they maybe tried to, but the double jump is not a quick enough shot. Ripper a chance to tie up the game. Maybe tried to go for a soft touch to fake. I don't know why they didn't rip it per their name. But they do end up getting back. Now no boost for either one of these two. Vulcan sidewall to air dribble. This has been death for Ripper so far. Will it be death again? Reset, floating down. A little bit more straightforward of a dribble from Vulcan. As now Ripper, chance to tie. Low 50. Recognized a chance to squeeze this in on the near post with the way that Vulcan set up in net. Swung just wide enough. There was a chance to have that neutral 50 go into the net. "5-5. A close game. Vulcan's perfect record on the line. If they can't get a goal, put themselves back in the lead. Vulcan wall to air again. Ripper was able to save the last one, and the difference between this and the kickoff is Ripper is back in that corner much quicker than he's able to when he has to do it off kickoff. Ripper, a little bump. You couldn't really see it. It was off screen. Vulcan came back and got the save. Ripper, another 50, and this should be a goal by all means. And in fact, Ripper is not even going to shoot on the first touch. He's going to take a guaranteed touch before putting it in. Ripper up 6-5. Kickoff going to favor him as well. Vulcan doing their best to take it out of an easy place to play from. Actually, he's done a decent job. As Ripper trying to grab a bump, doesn't get it. 10 seconds left to go. Vulcan, a great position. This time Ripper in and out of the net does work. He gets back down to the ground and makes a save with speed, but he's not out of the woods yet. 0 seconds, this one pops up. Ripper just needs it to hit ground. Vulcan gets underneath it, but cannot keep it up for the second touch. So Ripper's perfect record, or sorry, Vulcan's perfect record is now stopped as Ripper gets one on the board. Game number 4. Vulcan up 2-1. Ripper going to need a reverse sweep to try and take the tournament. Vulcan, admittedly, maybe starting to feel themselves a little bit towards the end of that last game, and for good reason. They've been playing stellar the entire tournament. But ultimately, Ripper was able to get a win on the board, and now a demo to get an early lead in this game. Vulcan, a little wall dash up around the top of the arena where that curve can help them out with it, I feel like. Maybe just a regular old wall dash, but either way, impressive save from Ripper to prevent the game from equalizing. Vulcan wants to go side wall, has just about the perfect setup. Getting the reset, playing this as slow as they can. Try and see if they can get Ripper out of position. Vulcan on the board with a few consecutive attacks, managing to never give a possession away once, and Ripper ultimately getting stuck with 12 boost. And you kind of have to just keep moving quickly if you want to be able to get a solid challenge. But at the same time, it also makes you very easy to read. So Ripper deciding to pump the brakes there for a second. With 12 boost, can't get back up in the air. Vulcan, somewhat of a lower dribble. And this is kind of what I'm talking about here. Not going all the way to ceiling, maybe intentionally because he sees Ripper going to ceiling heights. Make it tough to intercept. Backflip challenge. Vulcan. A power shot and a goal. Ripper. Ooh, just barely able to get a kickoff goal. Vulcan almost got it out, but ended up doubling it in. It's a standard kickoff for both. A cleaner one from Ripper. Vulcan flick, top right. A few kickoff goals back to back. The kickoff is one thing that people felt like they would both get outed on, as well as, you know, the viewers who are playing the game felt like if they could see the kickoffs, they'd have a good read on who each person is. Vulcan. This flick intercepted. Ripper has actually been playing the ground game primarily, but seems willing to play the aerial game at times. But Vulcan has just been free jumping like crazy. No question that Vulcan is up early and often whenever they have the impression their opponent is going in the air. Now Vulcan a demo, double jump bump. Ripper can only help shoot it. Ripper gonna have to try and find a way to get this boost and dodge the demo, which they did with ease, but gave up possession because of it. Vulcan playing on zero, and that was a big mistake as they lost the ball. Did their best to use the flip to get back to it. But it seemed like they're trying to set up a flick on zero. Can be tough to do. Camera check as they set up the wall to air dribble. Seemed like they felt rushed. They thought Vulcan was coming around to get them, but it ends up working out. They get their goal, and they take advantage of the fact that Vulcan seems to be wanting to challenge early. Wanted to break up the play as the wall to air dribble started, and wanted to immediately get back on the ball as soon as it was coming to the ground. Ripper ties up the game and is looking to try and tie up the series. A little bump, gonna go for another bump. I don't think it's on target, Ripper. Ripper, you need one more touch on the ball. But actually just undercut Vulcan. And this is not gonna be the best bounce to shoot. So again, Ripper just elects to be a pest. What a flick on zero. That could have been a bad position for Vulcan. They immediately ended it with a full field flick on zero boost. Still find themselves stuck in a defensive sequence though. As Ripper going to have a chance out of the corner. Vulcan takes it away. Never mind. Vulcan says, you're going to have to be quicker than that, bud. No lollygagging on the setups or I'll take it away. And a clear angle for Vulcan to take the long shot. Vakinus, have you been guessing, by the way? Vakinus is one of the guys I know for sure watches a ton of 1v1. I don't know if he's been able to catch the whole tournament. Obviously dropped to the 80 subs today. But do you have any guesses for who might be playing? Ripper kept ball cam on there for a while. Did bait the 50 in. Ripper out of the back corner. The resets, the fake. Not sure if it was intentional or not, but 30 seconds left to go. Vulcan preparing to close out the tournament. They can hold on to this one. Ripper with 17 boosts. Boost advantage so important in these final moments. Neither really have a ton. Sure, Vulcan has a bit more, but they're playing on very little. Now they're going to be able to reset. It's not going to be an easy pickup, though, for Vulcan. Decides to launch the ball, gets demoed. So now space and time for Ripper. Can Ripper clutch up with one final shot attempt? It's a flick. Vulcan sends it high. Ripper should have the boost, but it's going to be tough to keep this in the air. In fact, Ripper's going to be the one to hit it to the ground. So it'll end. The tournament is over. Vulcan will take it, dropping only a single game through the entire tournament. And now it's time for the big reveals. We will get the guesses from the players, and then we'll reveal everyone who has played in the tournament. We will start with the second place finisher. Who got second in the tournament? Who is Ripper, chat? Who is Ripper? Who got almost there but fell short? You guys said Wavy last 2 times. We'll go Wavy again. We see Cosmic, Evo, Reddles, Yan, Forky. I think we have Cosmic on there already. Do we have Evo? We do. Daniel, Jack, Diaz. Need a unique one. We have Beast Mode on there already? No, we don't. Beast Mode. Here are your 10 options. You guys have said Wavy. The 2 previous times you were asked who Ripper was. You guys are like 100% sure this is Wavy. You know who Ripper is, you think it's Wavy. So, who won the tournament, chat? Who is Vulcan? The 2 previous times you said First Killer. So I will include First Killer because obviously you're going to say it could be him. I see 2 different Attos. I see a Nas. I see a Jack. I see a Daniel. I see a Nugget spammed multiple times. I see a Beast Mode. I see an Evo. I see a Justin. And we have the FK already. I see, did we get Nas? We got Nas. See Moxie. Who is Vulcan, chat? Who won the tournament? This is the final guess we need before we start revealing. Chat has, again, the most votes for First Killer. But Beast Mode, Evo, Daniel, to an extent, really, First Killer, Beast Mode, Evo are getting most of the votes. If First Killer is going to have more than double the next person, I don't think we need to go any longer. Okay, we'll do everybody who has at least 20 votes, which is Daniel, Beast Mode, Evo, First Killer. So if you didn't decide one of these people, you have to pick between one of these people. Just want to make sure everyone's back so they know that First Killer was locked in. Everyone should be back now. First Killer, everyone decided to lock in. Above me is everybody who has played in the tournaments. The first person to get eliminated in the tournament was Endo. If you guys need a reminder, Endo played against Vulcan, and Vulcan was able to sweep him. Now, when I was creating the tournament, not everybody says yes, naturally, and North America is known to give a little bit more no's. I decided to throw a wild card in. I think Endo probably knows this. I'm not trying to slam on them too much. They were a wild card. They were a bit of a wild card, a top 100 1v1 player, but somebody who has only played one show match ever. Now, Vulcan guessed that they were playing against AJ. You guys said that Endo was Reddles. And Vacanus apparently knows his boy. This was the ex-Switch player turned PC player, Life. who's around top 50 in 1v1 right now, but was not much of a match for Vulcan. Now, you guys had life as one of your 10 options. When I pulled up the 10 options and you guys are picking between them, life was on there. A few of you typed life. I don't know if you cheated. I don't know if you know how life plays, but you got life. Now, I would say everybody else in the tournament have played a good amount of show matches, I would say. Life had only played one. That one was tough. Oh, by the way, you guys in this first round, let me mentally go through here real quick. I believe you got 1 correct, maybe 2 correct. Not a good round from you guys. Pros did a little bit better. So I'll color these in red as incorrect guesses. Life was Endo. Now Takumi played against Ripper. Endo may or may not have outed themselves. Honestly, he told me he outed themselves, but from what I could tell, nobody really caught it too much. But anyways, Takumi versus Ripper. You guys said it was AJ. The opponent said that they were playing against Cosmic. So Ripper guessed that they were playing against Cosmic. You guys guessed they were playing against AJ. Were you guys correct? The answer? No. Takumi was not AJ. Now, was the pro player correct on who they were playing against? Was Ripper indeed playing against Cosmic? I'm doing this all by memory, by the way. But I think I remember everybody. And the answer is yes. Cosmic was Takumi. Cosmic was Takumi. Ripper beat them and correctly guessed who they were playing against. Now, Samurai. Pros looking at that friends list. They could maybe look at their friends list to see who they aren't playing against. But keep in mind, everyone was playing on alts. So it's not like they could just see the score line of the game. Now for Samurai, you guys guessed Reddles. Samurai, I believe Eros is saying Samurai is Swift. I remember Samurai, a lot of people thought Samurai was AJ. I think I was watching Hootie Hoo, and chat was sure that Samurai was AJ. Samurai's opponent said they were Swift. The South American player Swift. Chat, you guys were wrong. It is not Reddles. Samurai was indeed Swift. Swift from South America. He represents one of the 3 regions that I talked about in RLCS that played in the tournament. Next, we go to our final quarter-final player. One that did not make it past the first round. You guys said Scarab, who played against Zippy, was AJ. The opponent of Scarab also said that Scarab was AJ. So it seemed clear, you guys, the opponent, was it AJ? You'll remember this player talked about their internet and how they needed to change different settings. Some people said that ticked them off to being AJ, and they were right. It was AJ. AJ was Scarab. So you guys are 1 for 4. Next, we move to Grog. Arrow saying Grog was Chronic. Grog won in the first round and then ultimately lost to Ripper. You guys said Reddles at this point. This was your last Reddles guess before I stopped letting you pick Reddles. I don't know if you guys would have actually gone Reddles or not. But Grog's opponent, you guys remember Grog? Grog was guessed twice. You guys we went Chronic when you thought you actually had a chance to guess against them. I'll reveal both the player votes at the same time. The opponents who played Grog said they were playing against Diaz. And it shouldn't be too surprising. They have a little bit of a ping advantage when they're guessing. Grog was indeed Diaz. South American Diaz. Not Chronic, not Reddles. You guys didn't get to see the ping. Of course, the players did. So they knew it was someone who doesn't have a perfect connection to US East. But I think Grog, who you guys guessed very easily when he played in one of these original tournaments, Diaz, he's very, very aerial based. Of anybody who played in this, he's like always going for aerials. So it was definitely guessable, I think, for Diaz. You guys got him last time. And I think he was an option in both of these final votes, but you did not go with Diaz ultimately. Now, time to get into the players I think you guys felt who played today, so it's a little bit more interesting, and you guys had strong feelings about. Zippy in the first round played against Scarab. So we know AJ was Scarab. You guys didn't know, but you did guess AJ. You thought the person who played AJ and won in a sweep was apparently Jack. You kind of switched to Evo later, but you also had Jack. This was like a three-way tie. You guys were pretty sure it was Jack. Now, AJ, who was playing against Zippy, thought they were playing against Wiz. Wiz, an 18-year-old 1v1er, is a high-level 1v1er, currently rated in like the top 20 or so on a recent run. Now, when Zippy played in the next round, their opponent did not say Wiz. They instead said Toxic. So this one, all around the board. I will tell you a little bit of a hint. Zippy was the player who needed to be replaced. Zippy was going to be Zapatos, but Zapatos' game didn't work on Epic. We had to find somebody else last second. Was it Wiz, Jack, Toxic, Evo, or a completely different person? Your guys' final guess was wrong. It was not Evo. It was not AJ. It was not Jack. It was none of them. Now the players, they guessed with a little bit of help from Ping. They could tell it was someone who wasn't directly in US East. Wiz is a US West player, Toxic, an EU player. And the answer is Toxic. Toxic was Zippy. Toxic jumped into our tournament last second in order to replace Zapatos and made it so that 3 regions were playing in the tournament. The original plan was not to have a EU player playing, but Toxic did jump in late and played as Zippy. Now, your grand finalists. You guys said Wavy all 3 times and First Killer all 3 times for Ripper and Vulcan. In the first round, Ripper's opponent guessed they were playing Wavy. In the semifinals, Wavy's opponent, or Ripper's opponent, sorry, was guessing they played against Fast. The final guess for Ripper was also Wavy, and I leaked it. You guys are right. It was indeed Wavy. It was indeed Wavy. I slightly leaked it early, but man, were you guys certain you had it. And ultimately, you were right. Wavy was indeed Ripper. Now, Fast was guessed by Diaz. Diaz, when he guessed last time in this game, also missed it. I think maybe being South American, he plays against some of the NA guys a little bit less. He doesn't seem to be as good at guessing his opponent when he's playing North Americans. Which brings us just to the champion of the tournament. Now, you guys said First Killer all the way. Wavy, who was playing against Vulcan in the finals, said he was playing against First Killer. The semifinal matchup against Vulcan, which was Zippy versus Vulcan. Zippy said before the series was over, before the series was even over, they knew, they pre-messaged me during the series, said, I am playing against First Killer. I don't even need to go any longer. I'm playing against First Killer. In the first round, chat, you guys said you were playing against First Killer. In the quarterfinal, do we have a full First Killer agreement? This was Endo or Life who was playing against Vulcan. He said he was playing against Appjack. Everybody in agreement except for Life on who was Vulcan. So was the winner of our tournament First Killer, who Zippy said pre-end of the game they were playing First Killer, and everybody agreed except for Endo. The winner of the Masked Duelist North America is apparently Jack. Apparently Jack was Vulcan. Everybody thought he was First Killer. Everybody he played against and everybody in chat was certain that Vulcan was First Killer, but Life knew from the beginning. Apparently Jack played a great tournament and won the Masked Duelist North America. GG's to Jack. What a tournament. Now, Jack did play this from North America. I know he was back in EU for a bit, but he's been back on USC servers. I don't know if he tried to intentionally change his gameplay at all. I don't think so. But it was crazy to see how you guys were all certain that he was First Killer the whole way. Yeah, Life knew right away. That was one of the first guesses, and he got it right. And I thought, oh, maybe people are just going to have Vulcan, you know, pegged all the way down to the end. It's been a year since you've played Jack. Listen, Wavy, you weren't the only one. You weren't the only one to say it was First Killer. Toxic said after game 2, he messaged me, this is First Killer. Let me go get his exact phrasing. He said, it's First Killer. I know already. Can easily tell. Bro is unreal. And then after that, after game 3, I said, just to be sure, do you want to change your vote at all? He said, nah, bro. If this is an FK, I'll be so surprised. Genuinely. So Toxic was sure. I did expose him. No, listen, I think it's fun. I think it's hard. Hopefully Toxic doesn't hate me for exposing him. He was certain he was playing against First Killer. I didn't ask anybody else like a lot more details. Jack was bouncing back and forth on this Toxic round, but he ultimately did get it. He saw the high ping, and I told him the hint that I gave everyone else because I guess he wasn't paying attention to the stream. I said, you know, 3 regions are represented, so it could be a Sound player, it could be a US West player, it could be, you know, an EU player. And then after that, he went straight to Toxic. He's like, oh, then it's Toxic. Wow, that was a good time, chat. Wait, what did Toxic say? Jack is ridiculously good? Yeah, Jack is really good. I thought it was very interesting. Jack is actually insane. Yeah. People kind of said the same thing about Diaz when he won in his show match. They were like, Diaz is that good? Damn. But yeah, I mean, Jack has always been good. But clearly, maybe not as much as I thought First Killer. I mean, what a fun tournament. I had a great time. We're going to do the EU Mass Tournament. And the EU Tournament is still happening. It's happening next week with 8 different players. We're going to do the same thing.